Game Theory in International Relations, Part 4. Now let's talk about zero sum games. When the total of the party, when the total of the payoff is fixed, we call it the zero sum game. In such a situation, the gain of one player must be at the cost of the other. These are the so called fixed sum games. If all the gains and the losses are equal, we speak about a zero sum game. In the situation of stock conflict, rationality obtains as each player can calculate his probable gains and losses and find out the most rational strategy which he can adopt on the basis of calculating their chances. Each player aims at the highest possible gain at the cost of the highest possible loss of the opponent, of course, but will accept the smallest possible gain if he knows that this is likely to be the most that he can obtain. If the two players rationally choose the worst of the best and the best of the worst respectively, a stable solution called saddle point is occasionally found. When the number of the players increases, the strategy becomes that of n person zero sum games. In this game, it is not feasible to calculate the results of the game on the basis of a clear loss and gain to any particular player. Whenever there is an increase in the number of players, a new situation develops. This situation is characterized by the form of coalitions and the emergence of the ties between those coalitions. In this type of game, there is often a tendency among the participants to extract maximum gain by forming coalitions. In international politics, William Riker's N person zero sum games model can structure much of UN diplomacy. For instance, when a state seeks support for its national position, or the problem arises of including states under undesirable regimes in an alliance, which means paying the cost, as shown in the attitude of NATO to the colonel's regime in Greece to Franco's in Spain. Variable sum games. The two basic type of variable sum games are fundamental. A. Chicken games. The first is a chicken game of mutual threats. Graced with the name chicken, it is a paradigm for the situation in which two drivers A and B drive cars speedily directly at each other. Both have two choices: to swear or not to swear, and the one who swears is disgraced as chicken. According to the original Teenage Gang Code, in which the game was supposed to have been originally evolved, while the winner is acclaimed as a hero. If both continue, they clash. If both swear simultaneously, neither wins, but both avoid disgrace. Newman and Morgenstern argue that in their work, The Theory of the Games and Economic Behavior, that the rational approach to each player is to adopt strategy that guarantees the best of the worst possible outcomes. In other words, they post a damage minimizing strategy in the face of the assumptions that the environment will threaten the worst possible harm. Thus, rather than deciding on the basis of maximizing the opportunity for gains, a player is to choose the strategy that assumes the least bad outcomes or minimizes his losses. Applicability to international relations. A chicken game is analogous to confrontation between the United States and Russia. In this analogy, with the United States being substituted for A and the USSR substituted for B, the decision to swear could be thought of as stepping back from the brink of a nuclear war, while refusing to swear would mean pursuing a given policy with total resolution, even at the risk of the nuclear war. Well, we'll talk about more in the next video.